evolution. So we three are just going to take you through a very brief presentation about NCF, which is National Curriculum Framework. Alright, so NCF, as I just mentioned, it stands for National Curriculum Framework. And this framework is nothing but it's a set of guidelines, principles, elements that one needs to follow when a curriculum is being made. Once the curriculum is made, then it's the time to develop the methodology, the aids that one needs to use, the assessment tools, what should be the assessment tools, what should be the learning environment. So after the curriculum is being developed, then it's the time to decide all these things, all these elements. Now NCF is dealing with the foundation years, which is the age group between 3 to 8 years. 0 to 3 is equally important, but then it is in the document it was mentioned that that particular age group is when the child is primarily at home. So the home environment is the one where he gets the nutrition, the safety, and the required stimulation. And NCF is particularly going to pay attention to the children who are going to be going into school, the institutional, into an institute. So let me just. So there are some important elements which are there for NCF. The first element which is very important is the early childhood care and education, that is ECCE. As we all know, in all the workshops and all the training, it has always been stressed that children learn the maximum when they are between the age of 0 to 8. So that is the time when the maximum brain development takes place. The 85% of the brain develops during that time. So there is undoubtedly the early years of a child are most important and critical. And then there was one very important thing that needs to be brought up, which is non-linear educational trajectory. So here non-linear means that with small children you cannot follow a set pace and there cannot be a pre-program for them because children learn at their own pace.
This is very much emphasized.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
for intervention.
Yes, varied pace. They learn at varied pace. They learn with their own likes and dislikes. अगर मूड अच्छा है तो स्टोरी अच्छी लगेगी, अगर मूड नहीं है तो कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. And some days, ma'am, it has been a personal experience that when kids come to the resource room, I ask them, what do you want to do? So sometimes they don't want to see anything, they want to just, move, they want to do some activity around music and movement. So the learning you cannot have a pre-programmed structure. It has to depend upon the moods and the lives of the children, and it has to go at different pace. So this was, I think, the most important thing which I kind of noted, that it has to be a non-linear education trajectory. And there was one more very important thing that it has been noted. The latest research says that children, they follow a linear trajectory only after the age of 8. Till the age of 8, it is non-linear.
So that is Anuradha ma'am comes in.
It's actually a challenge for the teachers. So this was one of the aspects of NCF, and then there is another one. Literacy and numeracy is very important, as we all know, and it can be instilled through all these pointers: alphabets, counting, colors, numbers, languages, and shape. We all are doing it, but then there was a stress that was being laid down was that these concepts have to be taught through playway method. That is something very, very important for early years. This is foundational stage, 0 to 3 years. This is again primarily at home, which I have just mentioned. Nutrition and safety, stimulation. When the child is at home, 0 to 3 years, majorly there are two senses which are being taken care of, which is sight and touch, because the child is still learning to speak. So sight and touch are two senses which are majorly developed, are stimulated at home. And then cognitive and emotional care. The parents and the Dada Dadiji who are there at home, they take care. 3 to 6 and 6 to 8 years of age is the time when the child begins to go to school. So 3 to 6 and 6 to 8, there are two divisions that are being made in NCF. 3 to 6 is called Early Childhood Institute, I'm forgetting that term, Early Childhood Institute. And the 6 to 8 is again Early Primary Institute. So these are the two terminologies which are being used for 3 to 6 and 6 to 8 years. During this age, nutrition, safety, stimulation, cognitive and emotional care, of course, that is happening, and there are certain more areas that the teachers of the institute has to start looking into, which is self-help skills, motor skills, hygiene, handling separation anxiety. We at preschool that DIS kids often, face
Can you give an
this.
example how you handle separation anxiety?
Ma'am, when the kids come to school, we the first 2 days are made, quite a fun for them. There are a lot of activities which are being planned for them, and initially the time there is specifically we keep a shorter time duration for the children in the school because they cannot stay in the school for such a long hour. So that is one thing, and plus the activities which are being done in the class to make them comfortable are also done in that way, so that they are little less anxious in the early days when they come to school. Communicating thoughts and feelings, working with peers, and developing good habits. So these are the areas that are worked when the children they come to school at this particular age. So these are some of the important points that have been highlighted in NCF. Activities through play-based methods. They have to be in children's natural instinct is to learn when they are playing. So undoubtedly you have to, all the teaching has to be done in a play-way method.
NCF is very much against holding and giving the pencil or something to write.
Yes.
That should not be there.
And then physical, cognitive and social emotional stimulation along with adequate nutrition. And the third point over here is importance of mother tongue. As we all know that language is a vehicle to express your thoughts. And with small children who have just come out of their homes, they find it very difficult if you are all the time stressing that you have to talk in English. That should not be done, and they should be made comfortable with their mother tongue, which is Hindi majorly. So bilingual mode of instruction should be followed here with small children.
And pencil will be changed, the NCF is in which stage pencil will be changed? NCF
Initially, when they
is
come in year 1 at least,
Yeah.
not second. Then you can do it in a play-way method. Not 5 pages like this.
But writing should not be done in the early years. That's what they are. Role of
Can you just, Natika, tell me, I don't know what you have planned, if your teachers have planned some activities, which is fine. I want to just know about, just go through the previous slides. Where you written physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional. So here in kids, give examples. How do you really take care of these domains, physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional stimulation? How do you people do there?
we have enough like.
Ma'am, in next chapter also these domains are explained.
the first chapter was just introduction.
Ma'am, in next chapter these domains are
These two,
explained
yeah.
with examples.
Role of family, extended family, neighbors and communities. There is no denial that 85% of the time is spent by a child at home and in his community. So it is very, very important that as teachers, we need to involve them also when we are, teaching the children in the early years. It is we need their support all the time to work on
As
the
I tell you,
children.
it's an entire chapter which has been dedicated
Yes.
to the role of community.
Yes.
Community, as I explained earlier, also community, parents, visitors, friends. Alright, yes, the role of community is very important. And we need to synergize this. I mean, education, school education cannot work in isolation. I, me, my students and teachers, no. the parents, the extended family, how we can open, I mean, all of you are doing, involving them in so many ways, isn't it so, parents? So that is very good. We also invite so many of our alumni, guest faculties also, the professors and everybody. Like we have 17 clubs and so many guests have been invited for there's so many activities to come have a connect, because they can also play a very active role in that. It's very, very important. And then they start understanding. जब parent involved होते हैं ना school education में, though we have a initially, oh, we should not do it, there will be too much interference. But if they involve them gradually, then they do understand and they become the spokesperson of your good work. That's very important.
Quality ECCE promotes growth of the entire nation. If our children, they are the future of our nation. So if a child is brought up in the right way with all the values, then of course it is going to work for the nation as well. A stronger nation is going to be built with strong individuals.
ECC is a very, very strong pillar. I'll give you just one example, and I always say, maybe I will sound repetitive. जब भी किसी बच्चे के साथ कुछ होता है, the first thing everywhere it is asked, was there any childhood trauma? Was there any bad experience? Why? Because ECC is very important. These are very formative years.
And the aim is to get a free, safe and a high quality ECCE by the year 2025. So that is the timeline that has been set. And now we are going to talk a little in detail about the playway method, and I would like to invite Neha to come and take it over. So good morning everyone. Today I'm going to tell you something about playway method. So as we are all aware of playway method, I'll just brief you about what is actually a playway. Anything which involves children along with the fun element in it. That's a playway method. This can be in the form of any physical outdoor activity, a riddle, a play, a group discussion. That is all a part of a playway method. And children learn better and faster in the playway method. Why the playway method is important? What are the benefits? So, the playway method motivates and satisfies children. How? If we give them the sand and we ask them to make a castle out of it. And if they are able to accomplish that task, that brings a motivation in them. That we have fulfilled and we are able to complete it. So that motivates a child, and again a role of a playway is really important. It develops interaction. Like when they go for outdoor swings, they talk, they communicate, and again, improvise their communication skills. Creativity, with so many science examples, experiments they learn. Mixing of two colors generates a third color. This is again a creativity. Then develops problem solving skills. Making a tower with puzzles. This is how they develop their problem solving skills. Improves imagination. Suppose if we give them a drawing or sketch file and a pencil and ask them to draw whatever they wish to. They imagine, they make, that improves their imagination skills and makes children independent. If we take them out for some play and we give them, like you have to bring the toys, play, keep it back. They become independent. So these are all the benefits of playway. Now, there are different types of playway methods like free play, guided play and structured play. Free play is a play in which child initiates and the child self-directs. Like they themselves plan that they will play hide and seek. That's a free play. They have made a plan, they are following it. Now the guided play. Guided play in which children plan, they lead the activity, but the role of a teacher is less. A teacher is a facilitator. For example, a teacher has instructed that you have to play with the clay. A teacher can just give an example that you have to make a caterpillar out of clay. Just once she will explain, children will then follow and they are going to make in their own way, in their own imagination. Structured play is being directed by a teacher and followed by children. Like we do in our school mime dramatization. Teacher tells them that you have to enact like this, lines, and they do the role play. So these are three different playway methods, free play, guided and the structured one. Now how we can engage these children. These are different ways to engage children with the help of music, outdoor plays, rhymes, visual art, toys, storytelling, riddles, nature walk, role plays. I'm going to show you a small video on it. Internet access है ना?
There's a wire there. We need a connector.
मेरे पास नहीं है मैंने किसी खाली
So this was all about playway method, and this showed that how a teacher or how a child learns from these playway methods, like self-expressive they become, imagination, they develop deeper thinking skills, scaffold children's learning, nurturing relationship, divergent thinker they become. So these were all the benefits of playway. Now I would like to call Sonia to continue.
Thank you, Megha. Good afternoon, everyone. So now I would like to talk about the family contribution in child's development and growth. So let's take a look. Now, 85% of the day child spends in the family, right, in the early years, and how the child and community contributes in their growth and development in early years. Let's talk about that. My family, my first school, adequate nutrition. So the first important development which child develops in the early years is adequate nutrition. I remember my mother used to give me sattu in summers, and in winters after the food we used to eat a piece of jaggery, right? So that development helps, that healthy eating habit develops in me in my childhood, in early years. So adequate nutrition begins in the family, begins from family. Now language development. We all talk in mother tongue in our home, and we, as India is a diverse land of diverse culture and language. So every house has a different, every culture has a different language, and child learns more quickly, I feel, that in a mother tongue. So in initial years, in early years, we should encourage child to express in mother tongue, and rather than focusing on the specific English language, as it is a formal language, that is true, we have to learn. But initially, if the child learns, when the child is learning to express himself, mother tongue can be encouraged.
The point is this, that language should not be the barrier
for learning.
The third point is inculcate values. Now, India has a tendency of living in a nuclear family and joint family too. So when the child is living in a joint family, he or she is learning from grandparents too. I have seen in many houses where children are learning from their grandmothers, the stories, the mythological stories. They are watching Ramayana, they are learning Hanuman Chalisa, they are learning the importance of Diwali, and they are celebrating different religion and traditions.
Just one minute, I stop you here. Just 1 minute, because then after that I take a lot of time. When we are talking about values and ethics, isn't it so after pandemic it has become so challenging?
Creating value, as ma'am also said, that it is the important role of a family to develop the values, because today's generation is depriving of the values, and then the emotional support. Now, talking about emotional intelligence.
culture, knowing themselves, identify your feelings. That was in that.
Child in early ages are unable to express his feelings, like when he is feeling irritated, frustrated, or even if he is very happy, he is unable to express in words. So parents are the one who understands their child most means very much better way, and therefore emotional support or emotional intelligence. This is the very important. Here, family's role is very important.
I'll just tell you one more thing about
Examples from you teachers, and this is the role of family where I feel that family's role is very important in child's so many developments, emotional in values, then the language development, and then we talk about the social development too. So in early stage, social engagement we are talking about now. Now primary role of the parents is to implicate or to develop social engagement in the child. How? Now child, when the mother is taking them to the nearby park, okay, so they are playing with the peer groups. So child will develop sharing habits. Child will develop the patience for his turn to come. So child will going to learn such values of sharing, of patience, of talking, of greeting. So these are the social engagement which starts from the early age. Now parents' role here is and even how to greet the elders, how to behave in front of the visitors, in front of the guests. So these are the very basic values starts from the family. Now what is the role of school to form a curriculum when the school is planning the curriculum? This curriculum has to be around these pillars only. Now the curriculum should be contextualized. Now what is contextualized? Contextualized means it should be rooted with the tradition and culture. Whatever means in general, we are coming from the culture, the same culture, around that the curriculum has to be formulated. Second is rooted with life experiences. Whatever child is experiencing in the day-to-day life, their daily routine, we should plan out the activities in such a way so that child could easily relate with those activities and learn nicely. The third is relevant and interesting. So the curriculum has to be interesting because then only child is going to take the interest and then only he will going to learn and give the maximum outcome. Welcoming all languages. As we have already heard about this, that multilingualistic means we have to welcome all the languages in the classroom. It should not be a specific language we have to focus on. Of course, means we are living in an age where English is very important. It is a formal language and it is an official language too. So that is okay, but we have to respect all the languages and we have to make our kids also connected with their mother tongue. So, and how the teachers or the school can have this connection with the collaboration is very much important with the families, with the community, with the school in the development and growth of the child. Now, how we can do it? First of all, parent-teacher meeting, where the teacher can understand the parents well, and parents can also help the teachers to brief about the child's behavior, basic behavior, and with the collaboration of parents and teachers, we can bring maximum outcome from the child. So thank you.